STELLARIS 3.0, the Dick update, will come out soon. Together with Nemesis, we're going to have a look at everything it has to offer in this dev diary. So, we're going to have a look at some espionage and some UI improvements and a fancy new story trailer. You should know that I will and have to commentate the trailer, otherwise I cannot show it. So, let's go! Boom.
Following the destruction of the entire Obligón system, not even the squabbling diplomats of the galactic community could ignore the encroaching darkness.
Shit has hit the fan, and now we need a strong empire at the top of the empires.
We humbly accept the emergency powers the Senate has bestowed upon us. Our union shall be consumed by petty feuds no more.
No more.
As custodians, we will lead the charge against this terrible crisis that threatens to end us all.
Look, there's a machine empire attacking from Machine World.
Our differences shall become our strength.
Everyone is coming, from the rocks
beginning today, we
to the amphibians to the... What is that?
One.
There's something coming up here.
We rally to the custodians
something big
as a beacon of hope. They alone seem to stand
like
between us and utter oblivion. And yet,
it's a ball
the
cube.
brighter the light,
And now,
the darker the shadow.
so this dev diary is mainly about the free update. Why do they call it 3.0? Because there's a lot of rework happening and a lot of new mechanics introduced. What are the features of the Dick patch? Sorry. It's from Philip K. Dick, maybe the inventor of Blade Runner. He wrote all the novels that Blade Runner is based upon. Basically, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? That's the novel everything is based upon. And we'll have a new Intel system. So we'll have first a new Intel system. Reworked First Contact, similar to Archaeology, very nicely done. Reworked pop growth, new industrial districts, and some changes to production of alloys and consumer goods. That will be interesting. A new espionage system, together with the Intel system, of course. Gather intelligence operations and other operations that will be part of Nemesis. So, very interesting new options and a new exploration option and a new use for your envoys, because they will be used for that. Numerous bug fixes and improvements and standardizations. Espionage update. The espionage system has undergone some changes since the dev diaries that previewed them. The way encryption, decryption and counter-espionage all interacted were one of these points of frequent confusion, so they decided to scrap counter-espionage entirely. It's renamed decryption to code breaking and will apply standardized rules when using them. Encryption is always used as espionage defense, code breaking is always used as espionage offense. Relative encryption is often used in the system and will now always compare the offensive empire's code breaking with the defending empire's encryption. So you have an offensive value for example your empire if you're the active one and the passive one. The recipient of the action will have the encryption, the defending one. Relative encryption tooltip. Relative encryption, their encryption is challenging relative to our code breaking. When conducting espionage on them, we experience these effects. Maximum infiltration level -20, daily infiltration progress -20%, operation difficulty +2. Their code breaking is very strong relative to our encryption. When conducting espionage on us, they experience these effects. Maximum infiltration level +40, daily infiltration progress +40%, and operation difficulty -4. Our relative encryption determines how difficult it is for us to break the codes of our target. In that case, it's very, very, very hard. And you can see already these extreme modifiers, which makes it challenging for the Empire that is just going for it. Then there's a new UI that we can see here. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can discern something. There's a spy network. You can see that this spy network is on routine. It's probably the last two levels will be a little bit better. From the spy network, you probably get these points here for the code breaking. So you can gather information, but this all costs you code breaking. You have to refill that probably. You can see that you have these little faces with the circles around them. There's 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that might be the time that is used for that. There's also another few symbols here. Of course, science, there's trade, all kinds of things like that. You can see the operations. You can have gather information, that's a very basic one, of course. Spark diplomatic incident, a little bit harder. Prepare sleeper cells, a little bit more complicated. Acquiring an asset, and an asset will improve your spying. Extort favors. That's going to be a little bit harder. A smear campaign, that's very dangerous. Also, if it goes wrong. Stealing technology, that's of course incredibly handy and costs a little bit more. Sabotage starbase, even harder in case of a pre-war operation. Arming privateers seems to be one of the more expensive ones, as you can see down here. The refined operations UI. Envoy on the top left, infiltration level, current max as progress bar and value. Intel categories in the top right. So that's where you find out how your target is good in, for example, fleet power, how good is it in research, and so on. So they've streamed the operations UI significantly, reducing the sheer amount of numbers associated with the network and the operations themselves. As part of this streamlining, they've removed the concept of spy power and bandwidth, so it's no longer possible to run multiple simultaneous operations on a single empire simultaneously. You'll have to run them one at a time. This change also alleviates a problem they've had, where it wouldn't always be immediately perfectly clear which mission random events were affecting, so the mental burden of running operation is lower. Upon completion, operations will now almost always cause a significant hit to infiltration to represent the lost contacts and heightened security. Of course, they notice when something's wrong. Operations also used to have varying difficulty per chapter. They've standardized them now. So we can list the operation difficulty on the UI and we'll let you know if you have an asset that is especially good at this one. Then we have the first contact update. First contact is reworked, like the archaeology system, happens in different steps, in different stages. Although not much has changed with the system itself since they first showcased it, there's still some changes that can be interesting to see. An ongoing investigation here. They've made first contact, they've named them something until we can find more about them. If they possess a language, we should decipher it, so we can assess how much of a threat they pose. It has a difficulty level, skill bonus, and insights. I hope that the envoys also get some kind of special perks for it. Finished first contact UI, the silhouette in the bottom right is supposed to be generic and will reveal a portrait once you've progressed far enough into the first contact chain. Early hostilities can now lead to pre-contact conflicts as well. If you anger a neighboring alien civilization, there's a chance they will come and visit you. More aggressive empires like fanatic purifiers or devouring swarms are also less likely to take your encroachment into their lands very kindly early on. They might just attack. You can do that. You might not know anything about them and you can still attack. For example here, Epsilon aliens, what they're doing is abducting aliens. Alien ship captured. We were able to disable the exploratory vessel of the Epsilon aliens, but only after a bloody firefight that continued even as we boarded their ship. So ferocious was the struggle that no living survivors remained. It seems that wounded combatants committed suicide rather than permit themselves to be captured and abducted. Despite their hasty last-minute efforts to wipe their computer systems and rig the ship to explode, their vessel is still very much intact, and our researchers are poised to see what they can find out from it. The ship will surely yield their secrets. That's maybe a rather evil progress, but you don't know, maybe they got attacked before, so... And it seems like the aliens in that case, as can be seen by the red background here on the system writing media, were not too happy about the abduction. Then there's an outliner update for the UI, and I love that. They've added some small quality of life improvement to the outliner. One of these improvements lets you reorder planets in the outliner. That's very good if you have like some priorities. For example, you have some new planets that you want to have special attention on because you constantly build there or resettle pops there. Things like that. You want them at the top, and you can get them at the top now. You can reorder a lot of things, you can sort them after distance, name, pops, planet, class designation. Very nice. You can see there's new outliner options. You can disable or enable what will be shown there. There's something called disabled alerts. That's very nice. So maybe they've also reworked the message system. That would be a necessity in the late game. You get spammed with messages, you know it yourself, and to get that under control would be really, really great. You also have now the designation that you have given to the planets next to them, which is also really informationally handy. It's just a great descriptor. The outliner can also be toggled to show the icons for the designations instead of the icon for the planet class. So you can choose even if you want to have it like Ocean World or if you want to have the designation there. Luxuries. Nice, nice, nice. I like this. With these two options, it's possible to list all your plans as you wish and to show the designation icons. I'm really looking forward to the changes for the free update 3.0, and I'm looking forward to maybe a next dev diary in the next week, probably showing up maybe a sum up of the Nemesis features, the actual Nemesis features. I'm excited. I really like the story trailer. Let's become the Senate together, or destroy it. Have a great time until next time and happy gaming. This is Immanuel Can, signing out.